Hello and welcome to today's episode of the podcast. I'm Stella and I'm thrilled to have you here as we dive into the topic that has been shaping the world for centuries but has become particularly relevant in recent decades: globalization. Globalization is one of those things you probably heard about in news headlines or maybe in discussion about economics, culture, or even the environment. But what does it really mean? How does it affect our daily lives and why is it such a hotly debated topic? Today we are going to take a deep dive into globalization, exploring its benefits, its downsides, and the nuanced complexity that make it such a fascinating phenomenon. By the end of this episode, I hope you will have a better understanding of not just what globalization is, but why it matters and how it's shaping the future. So grab a coffee, settle in, and let's begin. First of all, for part 1, what is globalization? To start, let's define globalization. In simple terms, globalization refers to the process by which the world becomes more interconnected. This happens through trade, communication, travel, and technology. It's about breaking down barriers between countries and creating a world that feels smaller and more integrated. Now, globalization isn't a new concept. Think back to the Asian Silk Road, which connect Europe, Asia, and Africa through trade routes. Or consider the age of exploration when Europe powers like Spain and Portugal began establishing global trade networks. These were early examples of globalization in action. However, modern globalization is different. It's faster, more far-reaching, and driven by technological advancements. The internet, for example, allowed us to connect with people on the other side of the planet in seconds. Meanwhile, companies can manufacture products in one country, assemble them in another, and sell them worldwide. But globalization isn't just about economics, it's also cultural. Think about how you can watch movies from Bollywood, eat sushi, or listen to K-pop, all without leaving your country. That's globalization at work. It's a blending of cultures, ideas, and traditions, creating a global village where we all are connected. Alright, now for the part 2, the benefits of globalization. Let's start with the good news. Globalization has brought tremendous benefits to the world. Number 1, economic growth and opportunities. One of the most significant advantages of globalization is economic growth. By opening up markets, countries can trade goods and services more efficiently. This has lifted millions of people out of poverty, particularly in developing nations like China and India. Globalization has also created jobs, allowing people to earn a living and improve their quality of life. And number 2, innovation and technology sharing. Globalization accelerates the spread of innovation. Take medical advancements, for example, vaccines, treatments, and technologies developed in one country can quickly benefit people worldwide. The same goes for tech innovations like smartphones or renewable energy solutions. Number 3, cultural exchange. Globalization enriches our life by exposing us to new cultures. You can enjoy cuisine from different parts of the world, watch international films, or learn about tradition you might never have encountered otherwise. It fosters understanding and appreciation for diversity. Number 4, global cooperation. Globalization has also encouraged international collaboration on global challenges like climate change, public health, and humanitarian aid. Organizations like the United Nations and initiatives like the Paris Agreement are examples of countries working together to address shared problems. Number 5, consumer benefits. For consumers, globalization means access to a wider variety of products at lower price. Whether it's electronics, clothing, or food, globalization has made it easier and cheaper to access goods from around the world. Alright, now let's move to the part 3, the drawbacks of globalization. Of course, globalization isn't without its challenges. While it has brought benefits, it has also created significant problems. Number 1, economic inequality. One of the biggest criticisms of globalization is that it widens the gap between the rich and the poor. While large multinational corporations thrive, small business and local industry often struggle to compete. Wealth tends to flow to already wealthy nations and individuals, leaving others behind. Number 2, job losses and outsourcing. Globalization has led to the outsourcing of jobs to countries with cheaper labor. While this reduces cost of companies, it often results in job losses in higher wage countries. This can create economic instability and resentment among workers. Number 3, cultural homogenization. Another downside is the loss of cultural diversity. As global brands like McDonald's, Netflix, and Amazon dominate markets, smaller local cultures can be overshadowed. There's a fear that globalization might lead to a world where everything looks and feels the same. Number 4, environmental impact. The increased production and transportation of goods have taken a toll on the environment. Carbon emission, deforestation, and pollution are often linked to the globalized industry. For instance, shipping products across ocean requires massive amount of energy, contribute to climate change. Number 5, global crises spread faster. Finally, globalization means that problems in one part of the world can quickly ripple across the globe. A financial crisis in one country can affect global markets, or a pandemic can spread rapidly due to international travel. The interconnected nature of globalization can sometimes define risks. Right now, let's move to the part 4, the complexities of globalization. So, is globalization good or bad? The answer isn't simple. It's a mix of both, and its effects depend on how it's managed. Let's explore some of the complexities. Number 1, winners and losers. Globalization benefits some people more than others. For instance, a tech entrepreneur in Silicon Valley might thrive in a globalized economy, while a farmer in developing country might struggle to compete with cheap imported goods. Number 2, balancing growth and sustainability. Governments face the challenge of balancing economic growth with environmental sustainability. Should they prioritize industrial development or focus on protecting natural resources? It's a difficult trade-off. Number 3, global governance challenges. Managing globalization requires international cooperation, but this isn't always easy. Countries have different priorities, cultures, and level of development, which can make collaboration difficult. Number 4, technological impact. Technology is both a driver and a product of globalization. While it connects us, it also raises concern about privacy, job automation, and the digital divide between those who have access to technology and those who don't. Number 5, the role of multinational corporations. Multinational corporations play a huge role in globalization. While they bring jobs and innovation, they can also exploit workers, avoid taxes, and influence politics in ways that may not benefit the average person. Alright, now let's move to the part 5, the future of globalization. Looking ahead, what does the future hold for globalization? Number 1, globalization. Some experts believe we are entering a phase of globalization where countries are rethinking how interconnected they want to be. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in global supply chains, leading some nations to prioritize domestic production. Number 2, technological evolution. Advances in artificial intelligence, renewable energy, and digital communication will continue to shape globalization. The challenge will be ensuring these technologies are used in ways that are equitable and sustainable. Number 3, sustainability's focus. As the world grapples with climate change, globalization will need to adapt. This could mean reducing the environmental impact of transportation, investing in green technologies, and promoting sustainable practices across industries. Number 4, inclusive globalization. Finally, the future of globalization should aim to be more inclusive, addressing the needs of marginalized communities and ensuring that the benefits are more evenly distributed. Alright, now finally, in conclusion, globalization is a powerful force that has transformed our world in profound ways. It has brought incredibly benefits like economic growth, cultural exchange, and technological innovation. But it has also created challenges from economic inequality to environmental degradation. Ultimately, globalization is neither entirely good nor bad. It's complex. Its impact depends on how we choose to navigate it. as individual business and nations. Now, what are your thoughts on globalization? Do you think it's a force for good, or do its drawbacks outweigh the benefits? I'd love to hear your perspective. Well, thank you for joining me on this journey through the good, the bad, and the complex sides of the globalization. Don't forget to tune in next time for another deep dive into a fascinating topic. Until then, take care and keep learning. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a nice day.